All right, I'm ready.
Nice. So, hello, let me redo that. I'll just
One
take
more
a drink of
time.
water. There we go. Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Jobless Weebs. This is a special one because it's episode 100. Yeah.
100
We're
times
making
of, I can't believe we're still doing this.
Yes, that's right. Oh yeah, we are here today, and we have another great anime. But yeah, we're gonna be celebrating today.
But who cares how our week went? We're here to celebrate.
That's right. Nice.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Anyways, how are you, Brian?
Pretty good. Yeah, I've had a pretty good week. I finished Lacrimosa of Donna yesterday, and yeah, that was way good. I kept messaging you, but really, it was really good.
You actually encouraged
really
me to finish the game because I
really. Oh, there you go.
I was
there
like,
you
oh
go.
no, Brian is gonna know the ending before me.
No, yeah, you finished it,
And I've been playing it for the last like 8 months or so. So
yep. It's incredible. The story is really good. I love the gameplay. Hack and slash is kind of an odd type of game style, but yeah, this one did super well. I really loved it. Oh boy.
Brian?
Oh yes. You? Oh wow.
For 100 episodes, Brian.
100, yeah.
100 more.
Yes. Let's
Or
do it.
1,000 more to come.
1,000. That'd be a lot.
I made my math,
Yeah.
and if by episode 1,000 we don't have 1,000 subscribers, we will stop doing this. Which will be in 17 years. And
17 years? Whoa! It would be old fogies. Wow. Okay, I'm down.
yeah, from Jobless Weeks, we will probably change the name to Jobless or G-Sense.
Oh, okay.
I guess that sounds better. Anyways,
Yeah.
cheers.
Cheers.
I also got some Pocky.
That's good. Oh, yeah.
Nothing says I'm a weeb like eating Pocky.
Okay, that's right. Well, thank you.
Anyways, getting the formalities out of the way, and since we're on celebration, we're doing something that we normally never do on the podcast, like drinking. It's not alcoholic, or eating.
That's right.
This is more than a celebratory, more like a even more casual than what we normally have.
True, that's true.
So, oh boy. So what about the anime that we have for today, Brian?
Yeah, so today we have an anime that fits really well with summer. It's called Summertime Render, and it is incredible. It's a really crazy one. Think Steins Gate.
Yes,
Yeah.
I really like the comparison.
Yep. So yeah, any Steingate fans out there, like, this is your next anime. It really is. So a lot of themes are similar. Even some of the things that they talk about are similar. Of course, way different with how it plays out, way different with like who the people are and the story itself. But yeah, it's just crazy. And also a little bit of the theme is very similar to a Stephen King book. And so, yeah, prepare yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is, would you label it as a horror one?
I would say more thriller.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely more thriller. Part supernatural and a bit of romance. So yeah, this one, it does have some horror elements, I would say. But yeah, it is a really crazy one, for sure.
Yeah, this anime is actually originally a manga with 13 volumes. And it went from October of 2017 to February of 2021.
Oh, so they made the anime like after.
Yep.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, the anime.
2022.
It was on April 2022, and it was over on September.
Yep.
So it won Spring and Summer of last year. And yeah, it was adapted completely. If they did it with the plan of, waiting until the manga was complete to make the anime, I would say that was a great choice. Because
it the best choice,
Because
like,
we've had, other animes like Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, the most famous example. Yeah. FMA. Yeah. Way different. And yes. And then thankfully they chose to, once the manga was actually finished, they chose to revisit doing it again, FMA Brotherhood. So yeah, really good choice. Because yeah, even if they made only half of it and then waited, yeah, that would have been way too long. Like any amount of time to wait would have been too long.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh boy. But yeah, I thought that it was a great anime with a really good story, even though pretty much the story only encompasses 2 days.
Oh yes, 2 days. And then something else on top of that. Oh my gosh. But yeah, amazing. Yeah, 2 days only. And we get 25 episodes of just 2 days. Granted, it gets replayed over and over again for like those 2 days. But yeah, totally mind-blowing.
And before we start with our usual stuff, let me tell you, the songs were super good.
Yeah.
And super catchy. And if you are able to pay attention to it, the openings, they throw you a lot of stuff that you get to see, and a lot of details that you might even ignore.
Oh yeah.
The first time you're watching it, because when I watch it, I only watch it up until episode 14, the first time.
Okay, yeah.
And then I started watching it in both dub and sub for some episodes.
Oh, I see.
And it was funny how there were a few things lost on translation, especially because, a lot of like the text on the dub part, they didn't show it. So I had to go back to the sub, and they were actually like providing the explanation. I was like, okay, that makes sense.
I see. Yes. There were a few things like a few parts like that.
But yeah, I mean, should we start?
Let's jump into it. A couple of caveats. A lot of things change throughout the anime, so hopefully we get some details right, and we probably won't even cover a lot of like the loops themselves, but yeah, be warned of a lot of spoilers, because
be warned. This is spoilers.
This is spoiler heavy.
Spoiler alert. Because we cannot cover this anime without throwing spoilers.
Yeah.
We would like to do it as like the other times that we talk about.
Yeah.
Where we covered really light spoilers, but in here, sadly, we can't. And it's our 100 episodes, so
that's right.
We're gonna go wild.
We will. So this anime, it starts off pretty, kind of in a funny way. It's
pretty anime-like.
Very anime-like. The gist of it is that there's this guy coming home. This guy on a boat, and what do we see? We see part of. I'm not sure if we see like part of a dream at the very beginning. We definitely see him waking up, saying "Yushio," and then bam. and it's super anime. It's a lucky pervert moment. He's totally
not so lucky, guys.
Oh yes, he gets slapped for it. There's this well-endowed woman sitting in front of him, and he's just like, buried Uh, and, but he's like, like, oh, I'm so sorry. But yeah, he still gets slapped. And we see him afterwards with a huge handprint on his cheek. Oh, so funny.
Yeah.
We get to the dock. He is there, and I think he's just like looking because it's his first time back in 2 years. He hears his name, and he looks, and it's a girl coming down on a bike, but she can't stop, and she falls into the water. Well, from her bike, she hits the barrier and then goes head over heels into the water. And then he also has another lucky pervert moment there. Oh my goodness.
The name of this guy is Ajiro Shinpei.
Yep.
And he's here actually for a funeral.
Yeah.
He's coming to a funeral from his childhood friend, Ushio. And she just died the day before.
The day before, yeah.
And this is also getting close to the summer festival that this small town has. And he is just confused because he left his hometown for 2 years to study in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, not exactly the best way to,
for homecoming. Oh, no way.
So he goes to the place where they are holding the memorial service.
Yep.
And he meets people. He meets Ushio's dad. He's also an orphan.
Yeah.
His parents died in a boat accident.
Yep. Years and years ago.
And Ushio's dad actually took care of him for some time before he left to Tokyo.
Yep.
So
he's their adopted brother. Oh, and also the girl that he saw at the dock, Mio, is also Ushio's sister. So they also know each other all together as like an adopted family. The funeral, it goes by, and then he sees one other person at the funeral. So his like best buddy guy. So you kind of get, he's like the loudmouth type of character. But he pulls him aside and tells Shinpei, hey, like, I need to talk with you after. And when they do get a chance to talk, he's like, hey, like my dad did an autopsy on her. He's like, why? And he tells him basically she had strangle marks on her neck. And the story is that she was trying to save a girl who was drowning, Shiori. But then while doing so, Ushio drowned herself. But with these strangle marks, they definitely know, like, something's up. And so Shinpei and so they come to the conclusion that it was murder.
From here is where the creepy parts start.
Ooh, yeah.
Because he's like, oh, it's a murder mystery.
Right. Yep.
Because apparently the only people that know about how the strangle marks were on Ushio's are So's dad, Ushio's dad, and the police guy.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones, because everyone else just thinks that she just died, drowned in the ocean. And so Shinpei, he thinks a lot about this, but I mean, the rest of the funeral runs smoothly.
That's right. With the flash in the middle.
Yeah, there's some flash where he's like, oh, what the heck was that?
Right.
And Shiori is also mute. Like, she can talk. Like, she is like shocked, I guess.
Yeah, too shocked from
And so
death.
the funeral, the rest, it just goes smoothly. Moving on to the next scene, they're back at home. They're preparing dinner, and things just go smoothly, like every other day. Then Mio on the next day tells Shinpei like, "Hey, I need to tell you something. So before Mayonechan died, she was trying to save Shiori. Shiori told us that she saw someone like her,
who looked like her. Yeah,
and the thing is that there's an urban legend on this island about something called a shadow sickness, where if you see kind of like your doppelganger, you will die.
You will die. Yep.
It's like, okay.
Yep.
It's like, you didn't sugarcoat it. It was like, no.
You're dead. Yeah. And they're talking about it. One thing I was surprised about, Shinpei, I remember vividly, he said he didn't know about the shadow sickness beforehand, which was kind of weird to me a little bit. And this shadow sickness. Oh, and Nezu told them about it. They were like outside, and he's like a old guy from the island, apparently. But yeah, this shadow sickness, Mio suspects Shiori was under, and she also mentioned, was it then that she mentioned seeing Ushio's shadow?
Yeah, it was around there as well.
Yeah.
Because there's like, on the day before Shiori, the accident happened, we also saw Ushio's shadow, and it was like, what the heck is like, what are you talking about? It's like, no, it's true. And, and so like, you're just going like a little bit paranoid.
Right,
because it's like, okay, what's happening here?
It's like, what is going on? This is not normal. Yeah.
Because they just decide to investigate. They go to the forest, right? Because they're investigating, like, they talk about what really happened.
Yeah.
Or what they think really happened. It's like they're going in the forest.
Yeah.
And they hear a gunshot.
Ah, yes. That's right.
So they're going there, like they're going into into the forest, and they see Mrs. Well Endowed.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Just like slumped against a tree. She was shot.
And we see Mio as well, that is carrying a freaking knife. And Mio kills Mio?
Yes.
I think she kills Mio, right?
Yeah. Mio kills Mio then. Yeah, crap hits the fan like right away.
Yeah.
And this is all in the first episode too.
Yeah, and then Mio proceeds to kill Shinpei.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
And then he's like, no, what? Like Mio, and we're going back again to the first scene where he gets his lucky pervert moment.
Yep. Oh my gosh. What a crazy first episode. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's just insane. One thing, they were trying to investigate it by going to the shrine, and thinking that they could be like cleansed or whatnot, or if they could like learn more about the shadow sickness, because they think it's a curse. So yeah, crazy first episode. The next episode, he's doing like the same exact things. He's like, oh, Sumu said, I'm so sorry, but he still gets slapped. He goes to the dock. Mio still is riding her bike. She comes off. She like flies off same exact way. But he's like, wait, today's the 22nd. That doesn't make sense. And he's like, oh, is this deja vu? Like, what is going on? Kind of a thing. And he finds out that he's reliving the 22nd and not just like deja vu or were like dreaming about it or whatever. He's like, yeah, this is the same exact day. He starts going with Mio, and I'm not sure exactly what he's really thinking, because it's as if he's acting the same exact way. Maybe because of that, like, even with memories and him thinking that it's the same day, he's like acting the same way he would always. But yeah, it was kind of odd to me that he's like acting the same way, at least for now.
Yeah, because everything in the funeral still happens the same.
Yep, the dad says the same stuff.
During dinner on the 22nd, he decides to
get some fresh air.
Yeah, get some fresh air, and he sees Mio.
Yeah.
How Mio...
Oh my gosh.
We see the police guy saying like, "Oh, Mio, what are you doing here?" And then the police guy just gets killed.
And he's what a gruesome death.
And he's like, "What? It's happening?" Like, "Oh, that's Mio." It's like, I see. I recognize that Mio, and and he gets caught.
He does.
He gets killed again.
He gets killed. Yep. Stabbed at the neck. With the kitchen knife. So, yeah, he now knows like something's not normal, especially since he wakes up. This time,
he wakes up at
the dock. Yeah, that's right. He's not on the boat anymore.
So one of the other details that we haven't tell is the fact that he has different color eyes.
Yes.
One is lighter than the other.
That's right. Yeah. And I was weirded out because I thought that's the way he was. But then he looks at a mirror at one particular time. He looks at a mirror and he's like, "Oh, my eye is a different color." It's like, has it always been that way, or how long has it been that way? But yeah. Really, really weird
this
stuff.
Time it's happening the same. He's starting to connect the dots.
He is, yeah.
And he sees how Mio is coming down her bike. And he's like, "Oh no, it's going to fall." So
he gets in the way.
Steps in the way.
Yeah.
And he is sent flying. And he's like, "Oh, I don't know how to swim." Like,
that was like, you're on an island, you don't know how to swim. Yeah,
I know, right?
Part. Yeah, I just thought that was funny.
So
little things like that, I just appreciate in stories.
He gets rescued.
So good. Yes, yeah.
And in this time, he wants to get proof. Of the thing that killed him.
Yes, yeah, because now he knows. Mio has a shadow that's going around. Other than that, he also knows he needs to like survive to really get down to the bottom of things. He doesn't tell anyone.
I don't think he tells anyone yet.
Yeah, I think he talks with Mio a little bit more about like shadows, and he does things a little bit differently, but not by a whole lot. A few things play out very, very similar.
Yeah, I think that like everything is going pretty similar, but one of the other things that he wants to get proof.
Yes.
So he makes sure that Mio is inside the house.
Yep.
And so he puts his cell phone outside. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Okay, I'll just want to see how this plays out." Oh, he also makes sure that the police guy is somewhere else.
That's right.
So he doesn't get killed.
So yeah, he does a few things differently. But yeah, he knows now that he needs to preemptively figure this out. So he is successful. The next day, he has the phone, and he does show Mio, and he basically tells her, "Hey, like, this is your shadow, and I'm trying to take steps to see what's really going on." Oh, and one other thing is that Shinpei has a sort of tendency to look at situations from from an objective view, which is kind of portrayed with like a out of body Shinpei, kind of overlooking Shinpei below him. And it's like, it's kind of similar to the bird's eye view from the guy on what was it again? The soccer anime.
Awashi?
Awashi. Yep, that's one. Awashi. Where he like steps away from himself and tries to, for him, at least for Shinpei, he tries to think logically about certain situations, non-emotionally. So yeah, now Mio is aware of the shadow of her. And when he also gets to the diner the next day, he sees the policeman and he's like, okay, yeah, that worked too. So he does get a little bit more information of things of that nature. And he also, I think it's in this one that he goes to Shiori's house and tries to figure out a little bit more about where the Shioris are, since they seem to have skipped town since they're not there at home. So he does go to the house, and he's there, and then this other lady is there also, or comes along with him. She goes into the house, and he kind of follows along, and he's like, "Oh, what are these like divots in the floor?" And he also sees the shadow prints, where it's the residue of from like a shadow overtaking the life of a person. I think that's apparently what we know so far of that, at least. This is really scary. He goes to the top floor, and he does find Shiori. But she's not Shiori. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's really, really scary. And then he, thankfully, he survives that encounter. So he leaves. But yeah, he figures out that Shiori is a shadow, at least by that time. And he does get to the festival in this third one.
In here, he manages to talk So into looking a little more into it, or just like what's happening.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's crazy, dude." It's like, "Yeah, no, you gotta believe me." And he's like, "Oh well, we'll worry about that after the festival."
That's right.
The festival happens on the 24th.
Yep.
Everything's going good as a summer festival. You know, girls on yucatas and food and this and that.
And a failed confession.
Yeah. And apparently it was not the first time that Sir was confessing.
Oh, yes.
He's like, "Are you going to do this year again? He's like, again?
Again? Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, Shinpei had no idea.
And so like everything's going good. They're like, Shinpei is hanging around with So, Mio, and what was the name of the sister? Tokiko.
Yep.
And everything's going good until Shinpei, he's just like looking, somewhere else, and he happens to spot some golden hair.
Ah, yes.
And he's like, "What?"
Yep.
So
totally abandons the rest of his friends, runs after.
He chases these golden hair trace.
Yeah.
And he goes to the beach where the fireworks have started happening. And there he sees Ushio on her swimsuit.
Yep.
And he's like,
just
Ushio, and she just like turns and sees Shinpei, and
Dude.
And then she's like all excited. It's like, oh, Shinpei, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
And
oh my god.
she has no idea that she's dead.
Yep. Yeah. Uh-huh.
You can infer, and Shinpei also infer that she was Shadow. But
Yes.
it also doesn't, she doesn't seem to be acting like a Shadow.
Yeah, something is way off. And she just seems, almost oblivious about anything that's going on. And yeah, Shinpei, he not really freaks out, but he definitely is like, no, what's going on? Like, why is this Shadow acting like Ushio? This is not right, kind of thing. So he's like, he's not really running away either, though. But he does tell her, like, hey, you gotta hide. You gotta hide from all the rest of the people and the friends. And yeah, Yushio, she doesn't know anything really about like why she's there. It's kind of like she has amnesia, something like that. But yeah, he hides her away, kind of off to the side, and he comes back to the rest of them, and he tries to act normal and stuff. But I think it's so funny that Ushio comes back with a little
Mask.
a mask from Pretty Cure. It's so funny. And but of course they know right away it's her. Mio's like, that's Ushio type of thing.
Yeah, everyone's freaking out because also they can imagine that she is a Shadow, and because of her, Ushio died.
She is dead.
So they're freaking out, and Shinpei is like, I told you not to come out from that place.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, Shinpei, but it's like he grabs a hold of Ushio and is like, I told you that. And he's like, okay, what's happening here? Because then we get Shinpei, and Shinpei has been captured.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And he was scanned. He was captured by... Was he captured by Shiori, right? Actually.
Yes.
By Shiori and Mio.
Yes.
The shadow versions.
Yeah, the shadow versions.
And so they scan his phone.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, they also scan him to make a copy of him. Mm-hmm. And so we learn a little bit more about the shadows.
Yeah.
So the shadows, they can scan objects or people and make an exact copy, just as if it were the original.
Memories and everything. It's like hardly any difference either. And also we see that whenever they erase something, it basically goes out of existence. But then it leaves shadows wherever it was, wherever the thing was erased. It's kind of like the residue of eating whatever it was.
Yeah, and so they manage to capture Shinpei.
Yeah,
they go to where everyone is, and Shinpei is like, oh crap, I gotta get away from here. Yeah. So he managed to get away from there. He goes to where the temple, everyone was at the temple. And we only see how Sou's sister, Tokiko, she was just finished off.
Yep.
And I didn't notice the first time.
Part. Yeah.
But this second time, she said, like, after all the work I did.
Oh, yes. Ooh, yeah, she did say that. I do remember she said that. Yes. Yeah, the first time I didn't.
I
have no idea what she's talking about. Yeah.
The second time was like,
You know exactly what it is.
Yep. And so,
Toki.
but this time
gosh.
also, So has hacks in his head.
Yep.
Trying to save Mio.
Save Mio, yep. Oh my
also,
gosh.
like Ushio, she's
kind of
been held.
That's right. Yeah, she's being restrained, and so yeah, this is where
do we see the
see
black
quite
monster?
a few more things. Yes, we see the black monster. Yes, because
Shide, right?
Shide, he's there, and we also see right around that part the pile of corpses of all the festival goers, and man, this is like, oh, this is horrible. Like, we think like, this is it. Everybody's dead, already captured. And then we also see a white-haired girl too, and they reference her as mother. I think we see that right here too. Oh, and also Shide starts talking about a game console and how playing a game, the hero can just like revive over and over again, type of thing. But then the final boss is in jam, can't really win. But then Shide's like, yeah, for the final boss to win, you just turn off the console, right? And he's like, okay. What happens when the final boss learns the concept of like electrical power? And it's like, what the crap is he thinking? Like, okay, we already know Shinpei can basically relive these past couple days, like loops and stuff, but then Shide is like talking about this like really weird concept. It really freaked me out. I was like, well, what is he talking about that?
You're like,
it's really, really weird.
Sir, we don't know what we're doing. Please, let me go.
Yeah.
Because while he's talking like a huge, I would say like shadow pool, it's covering the entire city and people is just disappearing just like that.
Yep.
And so at the same time, they killed Mio.
Yep.
They killed Ushio again.
Oh, yes. And
then finally, we also see how they kill Shinpei.
Oh, yes.
And by the time that he's having his loop,
yeah,
he sees how this white-haired girl is looking at him and
with a red eye,
and he's like, what is that? So when he starts again in the other loop.
Oh, one other thing. We also see Nagumo trying to shoot Shide also.
She appears.
Yeah, she does appear then, but it's like very brief. It's the very, very end. And she's telling Shinpei, I think that's when she tells him like, hey, just like say your full name to me and I'll help you, kind of a thing. But yeah, she gets killed too. And also we see a little bit more about Shinpei in this tunnel, or kind of like this after death type of thing, where he hears Ushio also. And he hears her, and she's like, I think she just says like, like, I'm here to help you, kind of a thing.
So on this is the fourth loop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
On the fourth loop, he meets Nagumo and tells her like, hey, my name is
Ajiro
Shinpei.
Yep.
And she's like, okay, so you know me. How do you know me? And he's like, you're a time traveler. And he's like, yes, I am. So they kind of like join forces.
They do.
And he's like, okay, this is what's going to go down on the 24th. Everything's going to crap. Yeah. So we got to act before, and Shiori, this girl, like she is a shadow, and by this time, Nagumo Sensei Hisuru is her name.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm so glad with me. I'm so proud of me.
Yeah.
I've been remembering names. So
Yes.
Hisuru,
Yeah.
she is able to determine who is a shadow and who is human.
Yeah.
And we
just
see a
by
little,
like a sixth sense kind of a thing.
and we see a little
that's what
bit
we
of
know
her,
so far.
how when Alan, Mio's father, goes inside the restroom,
Mm-hmm.
she saves
Oh
him
yeah. Yes.
from Alan's shadow.
Yeah, this is the memory that he sees before reviving all the way.
And so we have them how they act as a team, saying like, okay, we need to take Shiori down because she seems to be kind of like the main bad guy.
Yeah, because they realize that she seems just a little bit different, just a little bit with a couple things that are happening. Oh, and also they mentioned that once your shadow is killed, then you have a shadow immunity, so you can never be copied again, type of thing.
Like chickenpox.
Yeah, like chickenpox. Yeah, so they're like, yeah, Alan's immune, and they also say Nezu is immune, the old guy, and so they basically make a plan. I think Shinpei he goes through the different things that are going to happen, kind of a thing, but I believe Negumo is the one that mentions that they should try to go through everything the exact same way, but they do make a plan B for this, because she has like a plan to infiltrate Shiori's place.
Yeah, and she is kind of like friends with Shiori's mom from like high school, so they're like, oh yeah, I'm just visiting, and and so she breaks havoc. She kills Shiori's mom, Shiori's dad. She starts chasing Shiori.
Yep.
And that scene was super good because we see how as soon as Nagumo ties her hair, she's like a completely different person.
Yeah.
More about that in a second.
Yep.
And she breaks havoc. Shiori goes out of a window, and they're trying to get her because one of the other things for the shadows is that they look like human.
Yeah.
But the real body, it's the shadow. So if you hit the shadow, you hit the main body.
Yeah.
So because you can hit them, but they will recover really fast from that. You hit the shadow, you step on the shadow, you nail the shadow, then you will immobilize them. And so they do that with Shiori, and they destroy Shiori.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we're winning.
They're feeling really good about themselves.
They're like, we're winning. We're changing things. They're like,
So they're like, okay, on to the next thing, type of thing. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And Hisuru, she's really cool because she fights with a sledgehammer. It's way dope. So they finish off Shiori, and they're like, okay, on to the next thing. Mio, because Shinpei knows that Mio has a shadow Mio, basically. I think they do have a little bit of trouble with Yushio kind of on the team also, because Yushio, she is still around following Shinpei, though it's a little bit different. Every time he loops again, she's appearing a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think that this time Ushio appeared during dinner.
Yes. When he's back and he's at the house, she comes in before dinner.
And dinner on the 22nd instead of,
That's right. Instead of at the
night
beach.
of the 23rd.
Yep. Yep.
And Shinpei, I love their faces. Like their surprise faces. Like,
yes. So I actually did want to say that in this anime, the faces were definitely a highlight for me. I actually took a couple of screenshots. It was so silly, like this one. Yep. She kicked him. Oh my gosh, it was hilarious.
Or when when Mio was about to discover that she wasn't really good.
Yep, yeah. Oh, their faces were so silly. Yes.
They have a fight against Shadow Mio, right?
They do, yeah.
Inside his room.
Yes.
And Shadow Mio managed to hurt Ushio.
Yep.
They managed to drive her away.
Cuts her arm. Yep. Mio, she retreats, and so Shinpei, he realizes that it's a little bit different than what it should be playing out, because he was kind of warned that, like, or he kind of realizes that if things are different than his past loops, that, you know, he couldn't really predict or rely on his previous loops to see or know what's going to happen next. And so with Mio coming in, he has to think a little bit more about the board is changing. And so he asks Hizuru to kind of bandage up Ushio, or kind of like help her.
Next day,
yes,
they go meet. So
because it is later.
They find Ushio's. I mean, they managed to unlock Ushio's phone. They see their video of the two Ushios.
Yeah.
And how everything went down, how they try to save Shiori from Shiori's shadow, but that's when thing went to crap and the real Ushio was killed. Yeah. And the other Ushio was damaged, so she was just left wandering in the sea. And the real Ushio was erased.
Mm-hmm.
So, everything else of that.
Yeah.
And they decide to go to a clinic that they see in Ushio's video. And Ushio is slowly recovering her memories. This Ushio,
that's right.
Like, as far as she knows, she was the real Ushio, but now he's like, oh, no, you're right, I'm the shadow, and I have some pretty sick powers.
That's right. Yep.
So they go to visit to this clinic, and they just make their ways into a natural kind of like underwater cave.
Yeah. Yep.
At the same time, Mio is spending some time with Tokiko, but then also they part ways, and Mio finds Shiori. And Shiori prompts her to come, because like, oh yeah, Shinpei is here, and Mio finds the police officer. They go together. By this time, also, since Ushio appeared, Shinpei parted ways with Nezu and Hizuru, because they're like, she's a shadow and we can't work with the shadow. So it's like, so if you're going to be like that, we're going to part ways. So they part ways. They make their way, all of them make their way into this natural cave that is infested with crazy shadows.
Yep. And this is, it's a really creepy thing, because these shadows are babies with half heads.
Oh yeah.
It's so freaky. Oh gosh. And I don't even know why. I'm guessing it's some sort of like pseudo spawn of shadows. I'm guessing they may have copied something that was like that. But the thing with these shadows is that they look like shadows. Like they're not even trying to pass to look like humans, type of a thing. But they do look like, at least they are in the shape of babies.
Yeah, like giant babies. Really disturbing.
Yeah, really disturbing. Yeah. So they do have some altercations with some of the shadows. They have to fight a few of them. They get deeper and deeper in this cave system. It was apparently like all underneath the island, and when they are in this cave, they also see, when they're deeper, they also see a lot of ocean coral, ocean floor life in the air, and they're like, "Oh, this is not natural. Those are things that should be under the water." So they know that those things are also shadows. So yeah, really creepy place. And
they meet with Tokiko.
Yeah,
Tokiko is commanding two babies.
Yeah, really, really giant babies. And she calls them Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Which I thought was kind of interesting because those two characters are in Shakespeare.
Oh.
They're the ones in Hamlet who are like the messengers. They're off screen a lot of the time. And they have also kind of a literary, they're kind of infamous for being like fated to die type of thing, where like they're already dead. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. Yeah, so she calls them Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Maybe Toki is some sort of English literature buff, maybe. But yeah, kind of a cool layer of the story. But yeah, Toki, she talks with them, and they're like, "Okay, you're down here," and they also see So and Toki's dad too. Not then.
Not then. No, because they think that she is a shadow.
Later loop.
Yeah, they think that she is a shadow, so that they nailed her shadow, and it's like, you think I'm a shadow? It's like I'm a person. It's
yep, like, she moves. Yeah,
like I know stuff that you don't, because you're spineless. Like she tells to So, and
yeah,
she captures them. She takes them.
Yeah,
where
she takes it.
Heine is.
Yeah,
Heine is. It's the. Well, no, Heine it was the name of a girl, right?
Yes.
But she's supposed to be. I actually took a screenshot.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Hiruko.
Hiruko, yeah.
Yeah, Hiruko is the first card created from Izanagi and Izanami.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Who were apparently the gods that made Japan.
Yeah.
And so this goddess.
And Hiruko is described as a leech-like with no arms or legs.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So kind of like this
heteromorphic,
really terrible, horrific type of goddess, who's the goddess of this island, and so they kind of discover Heine, and they kind of explain that Heine is Hiroku, and this goddess of this island, and some things are explained by Toki, that she has been helping Heine all this time, and the really, really terrible thing is that they sacrifice the bodies of the dead people to Heine to eat. It's a really, really, really disgusting thing. Oh my gosh. And we also see Shide in this underground cavern.
Yeah, Shide is fighting against Hisuru,
Yep.
and every episode that he appeared, it was like, oh boy, like this guy needs to be nerfed.
He does, yeah. Because he has, so he's a huge shadow. He has 4 arms and he has 4 eyes. Really, really creepy orange glowing eyes.
Yeah.
But yeah, every time they come up against him, he kicks their butts. He totally like fights them. And
yeah, he kills the old man, Kazu. Yep. No, what was his name?
Nezu.
Nezu, yeah.
Oh yeah, Nezu.
He kills Nezu, and he managed to fatally injure Hisuru, and so he leaves, because right around this time, then now that Shinpei has enough information, he managed to free Ushio from the babies.
Oh, yes.
And so they start attacking, and everything seems to be fine until freaking Shide arrives and beats the crap out of everyone.
Yep.
He even takes Shinpei's eye, but it seems that it's not like a Naruto-like environment where, eyes are like light bulbs and you can just unscrew them and screw them.
What? Oh my gosh.
That's basically Naruto.
Right.
They just take eyes and like, oh yeah, sure.
Just put it in your eye socket. Yeah.
And so like they take his eye out, but it's like it hurts like heck.
Oh yeah.
But it seems like they cannot take it just like that.
Yeah, it appears back on himself. Yeah.
And
they also talk about Heine is like, are you like the chicken or the egg? And so we kind of are, and so Heine is like, we can't take it from Shinpei because Shinpei's eye power kind of like transcends this particular time loop, which is kind of odd because we're thinking that Shinpei's eye gives him this power, but it's not only this physical eye that's like right there, so we know that there's like something else going on with that particular situation.
So everything goes to crap.
Yep.
Again.
Yep.
And like Hisuru is able to make it, and just when she's about to kill Shinpei, she gets shot again.
Yeah.
And like headshot is like 360 no scope. She dies. Everyone dies.
Yeah.
And Shinpei he kills himself with some poison.
That's right, with the mercuric chloride. Yeah, and that was such a cool part because this anime it definitely builds up the tension, but it also has these great payoffs. So it's like mystery, supernatural.
Yeah.
And he's like
one of the things that I liked was like they went like 2 steps they walked 2 steps forward just to be sent like 10 steps back.
It's so great
because somehow like the enemy was when that loop happened, did he already had the mark?
So let's see. I think
he had it right because when they were watching Uchiyo's memory, Shiori grabbed him, right? And they were
right.
Wait, isn't this supposed to be?
That's right. When they were watching the memory, Heine somehow basically becomes Shiori in this memory. And it's like, whoa, what the crap is going on? But in this memory, Heine reaches out, grabs Shinpei's arm, and and leaves a mark on his arm. And I think we kind of get explained pretty early on that this mark, Heine can sense Shinpei.
Yeah.
Maybe not that particular loop, but I think maybe a loop after that.
Yeah, a loop after that.
Yeah.
Because,
yes,
I mean, he dies, and just when he dies, he takes Ushio with him, right? In that
this
moment?
time, yes. Yes, he takes her that time around.
And so the time when he comes back on the fifth loop, it's right when he's talking with Nagumo. That she just tells him like, "Hey, you're a time traveler," and he's like, "Yes, I am." And then Ushio starts appearing, and they're like freaking out because he's like, "What the heck is happening here?" And by this time, Ushio is getting a little better with her powers. So she gives like a really quick kind of like summary of all the stuff that has passed so far to Nezu and to Hisuru, and they're like, okay, yeah, I trust you. We're gonna do this together. Because they once again they're trying to go and fight Shiori again at her place. And they're like, okay, so this is how stuff is gonna go down.
Yeah. So they're thinking like, yeah, we can just do the same thing where Hizuru fights, she comes out the window, and Nezu pins her down again, and then go from there. But this is when Craps hits the fan.
Again.
Crap hits the fan again. Yeah.
Many times.
Again and again. Yeah.
That's the part what I'm saying. It's like, oh, all right. Like, I know what to do. It's like
we know
when you die in a game, it's like, oh, I know what to do now. And then the game just pulls something different. It's like, what the heck just happened here?
Because this time,
Shide appears. It's like, instead of, Shiori being the one out of the window,
right?
It's
Shide.
It's Hisuro, and Shide is like, whoa.
Yeah, he is just pummeling her. So yeah, she has her head crushed, which I thought was so crazy. Yeah, it's insane.
At moments, like this anime is pretty graphic. We have been ignoring a lot of pretty graphic moments.
Yeah, it is pretty graphic. There's a lot of blood. And yeah, it's just horrific with what's going on now. And Hizuru was like, right when she was thrown out the window, she told them, this is not the 22nd anymore. And it's like, you gotta run type of thing. And so I think with Shide, they do try to fight, but then this one is a kind of a short loop, if I remember right.
I think so, yes. Yeah.
I can't
He dies again.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just
times goes forward.
Right.
Now,
he dies pretty quickly in that one.
Somewhere around this time, it clicks to him like, oh, I'm not returning. Like, every time that I'm looping
yes, that's what it was.
Later and later.
Yeah, that's right.
So like the save point, it's getting farther away.
Yeah.
So from this point, like when they're about to attack Shiori's house, they're like, wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Change of plans.
We shouldn't.
let's meet somewhere else, all of us, and Ushio starts, enlightening or like giving the memories to everyone, to Mio, to Soul's sister, because Soul's sister is even like, oh crap, I thought we were working with them, but turns out that we were working for them.
And that their reward is basically not in the plans whatsoever. They give the memories to the police officer. And everyone, and Shiori is like, oh, so he decided not to do it, because Shiori, she also has an eye like Shinpei, so she can also see the parallel worlds. Yeah.
And so they're just having breakfast, and Shide, like this huge guy, is also like eating breakfast, and he's like, "Oh, can I have second, please?" I just love that because, bad guys like in anime, like Japanese anime, are so polite.
Oh yes. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Oh my gosh.
Like you see bad guys in another show,
please?
and they're jerks, and he was so polite. He's like, "Oh boy, only in Japan the good guy wants to destroy the world, but has manners."
The bad guy. Yep. Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, and Shiori is like, things are gonna be like different from now on. It was kind of interesting that this one they're showing a little bit more of even that side of what's happening. Yeah, really fascinating.
So all of them are at a school auditorium, and they're like, "Okay, we're going to do this." And when she's like, kind of like, "Okay, let's go, team," and when she's like, "Let's go, team," he's just like making dinner, and it's like, what just happened?
Oh yes, it cuts out.
He was immediately killed. Like by a sniper.
By a sniper shot. Yeah. I was so thrown for a loop because that was the end of the episode, right when it cuts out.
Yeah.
The next episode you see it was a sniper shot, but I totally thought before starting the next episode that Heine was the one that restarted the loop. Like that's what I totally thought. But no, he just got killed by a sniper shot.
Because Heine and Shide have also caught how every time that he dies, he's just getting further and further away from the save point.
Yeah.
So before they were trying to keep him alive.
Yes.
Until the 24th. And now they're like, "Oh, let's just kill him."
Yeah.
Like as many times as possible.
Oh, and one other thing is that for Hizuru, we also learned that she has kind of like a dual personality with Ryonosuke.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for that, it is kind of a cool detail with every time that it has her other personality. She listens to a recording of the other personality telling her things, and I thought that was really, really fascinating. A small detail with what's going on with her.
Yeah. We definitely skipped this part, and we did it for a good reason, because this is really plot importance, and it's worth watching it.
Yes.
But long story short, Nagumo's Hisuru's twin brother, Shadow, lives inside Nagumo's body.
Yes.
And so they are able to switch places. And so when they switch places, it's like Hisuru is like a shadow. The only thing is that she has a body.
Right.
Instead of like a shadow body, it's like a flesh body. But as long as Ryonosuke is behind the wheel, like she has superhuman abilities and like can ignore pain, and that's the reason of why she is also able to know who's a shadow and who isn't.
That's right. Shadows can sense other shadows.
And so in this next loop, they're like, okay, why did we do wrong? Because I got sniped again.
Again. So they're like, what the heck is going on and stuff. They do the same thing, sharing the pseudo loops with Ushio, sharing the pseudo loops with everybody, bringing everybody to the team basically. And they know that things are just like different now, that they're being tracked. Shinpei is being tracked with like every move that he's making. So they're trying to like work around this, but they don't really have a way to do it just yet, type of thing. But yeah, they have to make different plans this time around.
Yeah, this next fight was really good because it was again in the auditorium. They planned it a little better. They fought actually against a lot of shadows.
Yeah.
And they managed to hold them for a good while.
Yes.
They almost managed to pin Heine down.
Yeah.
Because they created kind of like a shadow fire.
Yep. Really fascinating. Yeah. Ushio, she copied tons of gasoline, which I thought was pretty funny. Kind of a cool detail. And this fire, though, Heine, she just like takes it all out.
Yeah, like it turned it into a vacuum, or
she copied all of the air and then erased all of the air. What a weird thing to do.
Yeah,
but yeah, it took out the whole entire fire, and so like she escaped without first. Though first they did damage Shide, but they kind of figure out that Shide has a human body inside of it, but they have no idea like why or who it is quite yet. And so they do have a little bit of leeway of making plans for the next time they encounter. They also think like, Shide, he should have a burn mark on his arm now for whoever it was. But they do have to like figure out who it was since they don't know quite yet.
Yeah, because at this point where Heine was almost gonna get killed, Shide inflicts some wounds. He shot Shinpei. Shinpei like dodged a bullet, kind of like literally, because he made a bulletproof vest.
Yeah, he just
and Shide was like, it's okay. He's gonna loop again because I shot him in a vital part, so he's gonna die soon. It's like, oh, he didn't die.
Yeah.
So during this time, this is now when they confront So's father.
Yes.
Because they go back to the hospital.
Yeah.
And they see how Ushio's body, who was swapped during the funeral, it's no longer there.
Yep.
And they're trying to reach his father, and they go to like an underground cave under the clinic, and they see how So's mom is strangling their father.
Dad,
and also at this point, Ushio, she also knows how to hack other shadows.
That's right. Yep.
She managed to hack Tokiko's shadows, the babies.
The babies, yep.
Also, Mio's shadow.
And she learned after
the third loop, right? No, after the fourth loop.
When she was trying to when Heine first was trying to overtake Ushio at first, but then Ushio kind of reversed it, going the other way. So now she can erase, kind of like, or like hack into other shadows.
Yeah, so she rewired So's mom.
Yep. Now
the dad is like, mom. Like the dad is like he has a seed with all the worst dads in anime.
He does, yeah. He really does. Because we find out that all along he was helping the shadows, Heine, and all of that terrible, terrible stuff by taking all of the people who died. Like anybody who dies on the island is taken to him. And what he does is he brings the body down to be eaten by Heine.
Yeah.
And it's apparently...
And he even wanted to do that with his own children.
Yeah.
Because So confronts him and is like, where's your sister? He's like, no, you're not going to talk with her. Like, he aims the gun at Tokiko. And he shoots her. It's like, what the heck is wrong with you?
Dude, yeah.
So luckily, like, Mio had become Mio Shadow had become Tokiko's.
Yep.
And they're like, "Did you seriously shout at your
Seriously.
own daughter?"
Yeah, and so yeah, he's just the worst dad ever. He has an interesting motivation, and kind of very misguided, very
I mean, yeah,
very
because he's like,
misguided.
"Oh, well, Heine, she wants to go to another world."
The world transcends time.
Right.
Yep. And so,
And
so
for that, she
Heine-
needs a lot of energy, meaning she
That's
needs
right.
a lot of food in order for her powers to activate that.
Yep. Lot
And
of
so she's like,
bodies.
"Oh, my plan is to turn all of us into copies of of ourselves, to copy ourselves into shadows, and live happy there as a family." And it's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. So yeah, the dad.
Then we discover that he's immune to the sickness.
Yep. And so all this time, he was just an idiot. Yeah. I did what I did like was the mom basically telling him, "You're an idiot, shape up, like you better fight for what's right," type of thing. So I thought that was really nice, even though she was a shadow. So I thought that was really fascinating, because she still has that, like, the same thoughts of what the mom would have really thought, type of thing. So yeah, it's really nice. But yeah. So they do set him straight, but yeah, he was definitely he was probably the worst normal character in this anime. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Terrible dad.
From there, they managed to identify what's the identity behind Shide. Because they're like, okay, if he's human and he's wearing this armor made out of shadows, probably because everyone knows his face. And so the dad is like, "Oh, I have a picture," and turns out that the picture it's Kiriki.
Yep.
It's Kiriki. the head priest. And everyone's like, "I knew, I never trust that guy."
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And so Shinpei, he goes to confront him, and he does.
Oh, and also before that, the dad, the doctor.
Oh yeah.
He gives a list to Shinpei and the group of all the people that were supposed to be, taken down. And his parents were on food. Like Shinpei's parents were on that list.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
And so, because this was supposed to be kept, a secret.
Yeah.
And so his parents were researchers, kind of like marine biologists or something like that, right?
They said they were scholars. Ocean archaeologists. Yeah.
They were scholars, and they discovered the cave. They were going to
they were going to go public with this underground cave in Hiroko, the whole shebang, and so they were bumped off. Yeah, really, really crazy stuff. So for Shinpei, it is pretty personal, but he still has that idea of the being objective kind of thing. Yeah.
So this next part, I didn't like it a lot because it seemed kind of stupid of them.
When they're in the cave?
To do it. No, when they confront Kiriki.
Okay.
Because, they're in the cave, they figure out all this stuff, and they're like, okay, now that we know who he is, we're going to try to see, if he really is. Because Shinpei goes and talks with Kiriki, and they're, talking, and, frivolous stuff, and then he's like, so, kind of you kill my parents, right? It's like, I want to hear you say that. And it's like, I don't know. I thought that was a dumb move. And the proof that it was a dumb move was seen clearly.
It was. Yes. It was pretty dumb. Yeah.
Because because both of them lost composure, like Ushio and Shinpei. Because the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I killed them, and like, and I'm the boss, and this is my ending, and he's like, and there's nothing that you guys will do it.
Nothing you can do.
And
That's true. That's true.
So they get mad. Ushio gets mad, and she gets taken down, and even like Kiriki Shire tells like, "Hey, I wanted to prove a theory, because every time that you die, you take Ushio with you. What happens
if we take her down?
If we take Ushio first and then we take you down?"
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And his theory was proved correct, because
that's true. It's true. Oh my gosh.
Because they take Ushio down.
Yep.
Then they killed him. He loops.
Yep.
And Ushio is gone.
Yeah.
And he's like,
and now he's screwed.
Yep. Like you're super screwed.
Yeah, because she was literally their ace in the hole with everything that they were doing.
From there, oh boy, I was getting desperate, because like things were just going
from bad to worse.
Yeah, to even
worse.
To worsest.
Yes. Oh yes. Yeah. He appears back in the time when
I mean at this point things just get worse, because once he looped back, he just looped into a part where they were rescuing some kids, and the kids were like, "Oh, and Ushio was great," and it's like, "Oh, where's Ushio?" And so he's like, "Oh crap, she's gone."
Yeah.
So they get pinned down by Heine, and she's about to tag them, and she just feels something. It's like, okay, you know what? Never mind. I'll leave. And he's like, okay, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
But then things just again take a wrong turn, because instead of them going to confront Kiriki as they would have, things go worse, because then Heine is like, "Oh yeah, I remember that I scanned Shinpei on the third loop." So she transformed into Shinpei, and she calls for So and Mio to one place, and Nezu, Tokiko, and Hizuru to another place in the island. And like at that point, like Shinpei is like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to Alan, because we said we would meet there."
Yeah.
He gets to Alan's.
Yep.
And Alan tells us like, "Oh, yeah, they're gone. They told me that
them to meet. They're gonna meet up with you."
And he's like, "Oh crap!" So he goes to Mio's room, and Mio's shadow is pinned down.
Yeah.
Because original Mio got a call from Shinpei saying like, "Oh, Ushio's dead. So maybe her control, it's gonna be overwritten. So kill the shadow."
Yeah.
And so he managed to save the shadow again.
Yeah.
And like once again things go bad, because he goes to it was kind of like a garden.
Yeah.
And he finds Kiriki, and Kiriki tells us like, "Oh, we've taken them into custody."
Yep.
And they're dead. And on like they managed to sleep out from him.
They do, yeah.
And they find Tokiko.
Yeah.
All beaten up. She's about to die.
Yeah.
And she tells like, "Oh, this stuff happened.
Go over there."
And that part, oh boy, that part also again was really bad, because Hizuru had another fight with Shide, and it was a great fight, and she was about to win.
She was about to,
But either way, things went south, because I think that Ryonosuke, he took over the arm, a part of the armor, and was able to gain a body.
Basically, yep.
And Hizuru died. Well, kind of.
Yeah.
And oh boy, it was just so bad, because
it was.
Because at this point, Shinpei was like, okay, no, we can save them. We can
Right.
save him. And
Let's do it again.
He loops again.
He shoots himself. Yep.
And he goes directly to save Mio. And from Mio, they go directly to save Tokiko and
through the
Ryonosuke
sewers.
and
Yep.
Nesu.
And they're like, we need to fight Shide.
And at
But we
this
all need to
point,
go.
like, Shide is like, oh, I got the loop. Like, you looped.
Yeah.
And so he bet the crap out of Hizuru. He's like,
Yeah.
no! He's like, the waifu.
Dude, yeah. This was so sad, this part, because Hizuru, she tells them, hey, like, we're gonna suffer casualties. Basically, I accepted my death. Like, you go and take care of them. It's really, really sad.
Yeah. Oh boy, because he's like, take care of Ryonosuke, and then she dies. It's like
she gives.
It's like,
Ryonosuke
Shinpei, you
to
idiot.
him. Yeah, Shinpei couldn't save her. Oh my gosh, it was
like,
so crazy. Yeah.
First, you lose like your ace in the hole, Ushio, and
now
your second ace in the hole.
Yeah, seriously, she was literally the best fighter. Yeah, she was so good.
Because again, from this point, Shide and Heine are like, okay, we might as well finish you here.
Right.
But then again, she sends something that's like, okay, we're at number, let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
And they leave, and he's like, I don't understand what's happening. Right. He's not allowed to loop. And let's go a little forward. Mio's shadow is like, oh, by the way, like, what do you have there in your pocket? And it was the necklace that belonged to Ushio. He's like, oh yeah, this necklace has all the memories from Ushio.
All her
but
memories.
I cannot scan it. Only Ushio
can do it.
do it. And he's like, yeah, but Ushio is dead. He's like, or she isn't.
Or is she?
They're
like, okay. And this is really cool. Shinpei, he figures out that Ushio will appear like she did previously on the night of the festival. And thinking of that, he makes up a new plan. And that was pretty Sherlock Holmes moment of him. Because he's like, she was like planning on it way back when, because she put her memories in this, knowing that her shadow will basically appear on that day.
I thought that that was a really good move, and you know, it seems kind of like a paradox.
It does seem like it, because
like
she was a
the
rape,
Ushio that has been here the whole time is actually the Ushio from
the night of the festival,
from the third loop.
And so
one of those loops, third or fourth loop.
And so her body is still floating out in the sea.
Her body is still recovering from the first time that she fought against Shiori, and she's just in the sea.
That's right. Yep.
And so the plan that they make next is really good, and we're not gonna tell about it. Because you really need to see this. And like, you know, this is the ray of hope that we needed. It's like, okay, not everything's going to crap.
Yep.
Because fast forward again. They actually manage to save Ushio. And right about when they were about to be cornered by Shido. Because now, did you get this part? Because were there many clones of Shido? There were like 3 or 4 clones.
Oh, Shide?
Yeah, Shide.
So Shide had...
There was a main body that we get to see at the very end.
The very, very end, yes. So what I thought is that...
during this time, the festival was happening, you know, the cleaning was happening, and there was one Kiriki there.
Yeah.
But also there was the Kiriki that was chasing them.
Yes, I was thinking that he had multiple clones.
Okay, yeah.
Like not only, you know, the ones that we see, but then the one that we see at the very, very end. Yeah. That has his
I think
original
that was the
guard.
original main body. And for
That's
some
right.
reason he
Still alive.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
I didn't
that the
quite get
clones are
that
the
part, but it
ones.
was like
Yeah, I don't think they really like but yeah, we do know that so like the younger ones, they're always the cloned ones, and so those are the only ones that we see on the surface of the island. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay. So they did manage to
They defeat-
rescue Ushio.
Yep.
She gets her memories back just like this.
Yep.
And they actually fight off against Shide. Now this is really close to the end game. Right, because he decides to loop right there, right?
Right.
And he's like, "So what are you gonna do?" And Shinpei is like, "So do you know where I'm come from?" And he just and when he's about like to shoot his head, like Shide is like, "Oh no, you don't!" And he's aiming at his hand.
Yeah.
But now he has Hisuru's power from Ryonosuke to see 2 seconds in the future. So it's like he managed to dodge it.
Yep.
Like, see ya.
Yeah. Oh, such a cool part. Seriously, such a cool part. So yeah, now.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the only anime where a guy will look cool before shooting his brains out.
Yes. Yeah, it's cool.
So like it's looking brighter and brighter for them.
Yeah. Yep.
They loop back and they're inside the cave.
Yes.
And now again with Ushio and everyone is like, "Oh, thanks God. Like thank God you're here." This is the end game.
Yes.
This is where the final 3, episode 22-ish, 23 and 24 happened.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Right?
That's right.
So they're inside the cave.
Yep.
And they're making their way into Heine's main body.
Yep.
But at this point, they have also discovered that Shire's plans are not Heine's plans.
That's right. It's a little bit different. And
I also kind of love that you know the bad guy that you thought all along was just a puppet, and he's like, "Oh,
right. All along, just a puppet." And Heine, she's just, just thinking about it. Yeah, she's just like that character that we first meet. She's a small young girl who just wants friends. So very powerful. Yeah, they start going into the cave. Well, they're already in the cave, but they go to the main lair, knowing that Shide is the one that they have to watch out for. Because he is the BBEG, big bad evil guy.
Oh yeah, because we have Tokiko stays behind.
Yes.
To guard them with the babies. Ushio, So, and Shinpei are fighting against pretty much Heine and Shide, right?
Yeah.
And by some trick, they actually manage to take down Heine.
Yeah.
And also Mio's shadow was there.
Oh yes, she's there too. Yes.
And you're like, and
it's a pretty cool plan.
Yeah. But like in a game, it's like once the freaking music on Latin starts, you mean that there's a second phase.
There's always a second phase.
Because I also really like that, like the songs of like voices.
Oh yeah.
And I can't remember of like the Nier Automata songs, like.
Oh yes,
it's like those voices are so creepy yet so good for like a battle or like a really tense moment.
Yeah,
because he's like, why hasn't the music stopped? Why is it so creepy?
Right, second phase.
Because he's like,
seriously,
Heine was killed,
really cool.
and they thought like, oh,
she's taken care of. Yeah,
she was taken care of. That means that the shadows are gonna disappear.
Yeah. But then they see that Ushio, she's not disappearing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then like we see this weird, deformed, obscure baby or something shaped like one. Like
it's
not even a baby, more like a fetus.
Yeah, you could see that. Yeah.
And it's Heine, and it's like, oh boy. At that point, I was feeling really bad for her because he's like, oh, it's like, you were the bad guy, but you weren't. You were just used. And Cheetah is like, you think you can beat me?
Yeah.
And like, he
takes her,
adapts her into his armor.
And
he's like,
really creepy.
Freaking dude, like, you never died? He's like, because even Chimpy's like, are you freaking immortal?
Yeah.
He's like, what is wrong with you, dude? He's like, please die already.
Right. And Shide, he doesn't fight them. They're in the cave. He kind of opens up kind of like a weird crack in the wall. But it's not really even like the wall. It's like into a different dimension.
Yeah, it turns out time.
Yeah, it's in space time. It turns out it's like the world that Heine came from.
And the place where she wanted to go.
Yes. And this is the final battle. Craziness ensues. Shinpei and Ryunosuke has some more character development at this point. It's really, really cool. And they have to start fighting Shide. Thankfully, Ushio is there, and they come up with a really cool plan, too.
They also find Heine.
Yes.
The first girl that was absorbed by Hiruko.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it turns out that just as Hisuro told Shinpei before dying, like Heine, she's a good kid. She just wants friends. Like, she's been used. Like, please save her.
Yes.
And it turns out that like Heine was there. It's like, oh no, like you want to fight this dude? It's like, be careful, because this is not the same as the world of the living.
Mm-hmm. You won't loop if you die. Yep. It's because time stands still in this world.
The first time that Hiruko kind of like arrived to the island was 300 years in the past.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I didn't quite get that part, because like if she got 300 years in the past, she was there were some memories of this place.
Yes, right.
And when Shidi arrived, the freaking planes is like, wait.
Yeah.
Not that good with history, but I know that planes haven't been around more than 300 years. Because was that kind of like a collective memory, or?
So I'm thinking it was a collective memory, like after, like I don't know when though, or I think it was a collective memory, because 300 years ago,
that's
like 1680 something, something like that,
I mean,
so I think it was a collective memory for sure. I don't know. I think it was just like a really.
Probably, I probably should have paid a little more attention in that part.
Oh, maybe, yeah. I think she just remembered it because it was such a scary night, I guess, something like that.
And also granted, is like World War II definitely happened during this time. So probably it was like, one of those days during all the time that I've been alive that happened. So so there's this last crazy fight with Shide on like his third or fourth form already.
Yep.
And he has bombers.
Yeah.
and Ushio is like spinning her hair, like making a shield to protect everyone.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're screwed. We're really screwed. We're more than screwed. At this point again, Heine is like, okay, no, I can take over this place for just a few seconds. That's your cue to attack him. Because they also discover that the body that they were fighting against is not even again like the real body. Like that's the stuff that we were talking about. Like it was just clones that was being controlled remotely, kind of. And he wanted to, and in here he was able to steal, or rather, he had the opportunity to steal Ushio's or Shinpei's eyes, right? Because he already had Heine's eye.
Yes.
When she was almost killed, like he took the rest of Heine's powers. Now the only thing that he needed was
Shinpei's eye.
Either Shinpei or Ushio's eye, right?
Oh yes, because now it's like in her. Yeah, that's right.
And so with that, he was able to unlock, or rather unplug the electrical power from the console. Which, at the same time...
Yeah, ending the world. Because, it was a weird thing, because he had this like motivation of living a very long time, but knowing that he'll run out eventually, he would rather just end the world instead. Yeah.
Yeah,
really crazy.
Yeah,
really
I didn't quite get his motivation because like that was exactly it. He wanted to live more, but then it was like, oh, but Heine, she's getting weaker and weaker.
She's fading now. Yep.
So he's like,
so he wouldn't.
So it's like if it's gonna be my end, then it's gonna be everyone's end, and it's gonna be on my terms. And you're like, okay,
very self-centered.
You psychopath.
Psychopath. Yep.
I mean. Psychopath is a nice word for him because he went even to worse lengths. But so they have a fight against Ushio versus Shide. Really great fight, but again, not enough to fight against him. Because
she's like rendered. I mean, she's like being down to the point where she can't even really like move. Yep. Or look like yourself. So they come up with another plan with using
hacking shells.
Yep, exactly.
But she's like, it's gonna take a couple minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like distract him in the meantime. And now it was like round 2.
Yep.
Shinpei and Ryonosuke versus Shide. It's like. And it goes really bad as well.
Again. Yeah. It's crazy how much it's like, oh, here's a plan. Oh, it goes bad. Okay, here's another plan.
Yeah, because it's like, oh my gosh, like what's happening here?
Yeah.
Because also Shinpei is like, oh, can you take over his body? It's like, yeah, I think I can do it. Because he was able to do it, but he didn't remember because that loop never happened to them, at least. And at the time that he's about to take over Shida's armor, he is just distracted from the armor. And he's like, what is happening here? It's like, you did this already, so I know your dirty tricks. It's like, Shinpei, you idiot.
Yeah.
You just feel the tension building up, or it was like, oh, crap, like, this is really gonna end? Because it's like, because you know that the good guys win. But what I like about anime is that sometimes the good guys don't win. And the bad guys win. One example of that, it's on top of my head, Devilman Crybaby.
Oh, okay.
If you haven't watched it, I don't think we'll ever talk about that one.
Oh, yeah, it's a crazy one. Oh, man.
I had nightmares after that one.
Oh, yeah.
Really good one, but it's like, no, I don't want to talk about that one.
Oh, yeah.
But for example, that is an example of like bad guys can win in anime. And it's like, oh crap. So, I was ready to flip the table. Kind of like, don't do this to me.
Right, yeah. Right. We've gotten this far to just be totally annihilated.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, you have the boss at 1 HP.
Yeah.
But you're also at 1 HP.
Yeah, it's so close. So they had this 2
Ushio
minutes.
is like, I got the shells.
Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah. And so she has the gun locked and loaded. Shinpei, all he has to do is pick it up, turn around and shoot. And then Chide would be taken down. But yeah, even this part is like, oh
Yeah,
man,
you-
because like not only do they have to do all this, they do this where he like doesn't have enough time to grab the gun. She's now the shell is in the gun. She's like, now she's trying to move the gun over to him. She's like, move. And yeah, it just keeps building up to the last possible second. And the gun jumps to Shinpei. Now he can take the shot.
Oh,
And
my
man,
God. That was like,
it's so crazy. Yeah.
so they shoot him.
Yep. So they do it.
They killed him, and he's like, no. He dies.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Man, it's crazy.
He's like, he's not gonna come back. You see? Because he's like, because if I keep hearing freaking Latin music, I swear to you.
Oh, yes. Oh,
And it's
yes.
No, okay, no. So
Right.
now it's just
Now's the
Shinpei, Ryonosuke,
yep.
Ushio, and Haine.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, okay, yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
But we still have Hiruko in
Mhm.
this creepy baby
Yeah. Yep.
form. And
they go to the
and Ushio
other-
grabs her and is like, I'm gonna end your suffering.
yeah.
And when she says that, they're again transported back in time
Yep.
to the first time that the whale appeared.
Yeah.
And it's like,
They approach it.
she wants to go back and restart everything.
Right.
like-
and they're like, no, we can't let her do that.
And we also see
Mhm.
Heine, like
We
the
do,
original Heine.
Yep.
And they're like, no, don't go there, you stupid girl.
Yeah, and they're like, don't go. And it's like, no, you can't do that because it's just a memory. And then Shinpei approaches the girl, and he's like, he reaches out, and suddenly he's able to talk with this girl, and he's like, yeah, you shouldn't approach gods. You should get an adult. And it's like, no way. He like talked with a girl in the past 300 years ago. And
Which makes sense, you know, because
it does. Yeah.
he had the
eye
of
still.
a god.
Right.
And that's how Heine was able to track him down, because she
Mhm.
also had the other eye. So that's why, as a memory, she was able to interact with him. So it's like,
okay.
he never tried it during his memories, but I'm pretty sure he could have.
Okay, he could have with this power. You know, that's a good point. In this one, he
And
does it.
the fact that he didn't notice until the very last moment says a lot. But it's like,
Yeah.
he could have tried interacting with the memories and like, hey, don't do it. And
Okay.
he could have probably changed
the course of
the
history.
course of history. Because at the same time, you know,
Fascinating.
his eye was able to see many futures
right.
and many,
Right.
you know, ramifications.
A lot of the parallel worlds.
The other problem was that he didn't
Yeah.
know how to use it.
Right.
And the only way that he found was like, oh, I might as well kill myself and go
yeah.
to another timeline.
Go to another one. Yeah, because all this time, he basically only knew that this eye gives him this power of rendering the world, because as an observer, kind of like Steins Gate, whatever you see is reality, turns into reality, kind of like that quantum mechanics idea of if you don't observe something, you don't know the state until you open it up and look at it. But then once you do, it's locked into place. So yeah, that's interesting. The power was there all along.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, the anime would probably been a lot shorter and a lot boring. a lot more boring.
If he realized, yeah. So
Because
this memory he realizes.
and so like
It's true, it's
Ushio is like, okay, I'm gonna destroy this because like Ushio also has Heine's other eye.
Yeah.
So that's why she is also able to interact with this shadow and destroy the shadow, the first shadow.
Yes.
Hiruko disappears, and it's also, their time. So from that point, it's like Ryonosuke and Heine, they're like, oh, I wish that in next time we meet, we could be friends. It's like, yeah, of course we can be friends. You're my sister friend. It's like, oh, yeah, really?
Yeah.
And so they disappear.
It's very nice. Yeah.
And at the same time, Shinpei is like, oh, well, my body was still in this other dimension, and I was already, kind of close to disappear. So I might as well disappear with you. And she's like, no. You're not gonna do that. So
right.
They look back again.
They do.
It seems that ultimately, like, Ushio was the one that restarted the world per se.
Yeah, I think so, in the sense that she was the one who kind of got things wrong with like the phone call, especially. So yeah, I definitely agree with that for sure. With this looping, they do decide basically like to stay with each other, but then Shinpei, he wakes up at that same part yelling Ushio on the boat. So it's like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah,
what's
like,
happening?
And he's like,
you're alive.
Nagumo is like, you're alive. I'm so glad. And she's kind of like creeped out. It's like,
right, like,
I've never met you in my life. It's like, Ryonosuke Nagumo. You're Ryonosuke Nagumo. She's like,
how the crap
how do you know that? And so like,
yeah, so
stuff just go smoothly from there. Like, he is, having this like, a deja vu again. It's like, I'm pretty sure I've been here. I mean, it's my hometown, but I'm pretty sure I've been here before. And so he sees Mio that it's coming down on her bike, and he's like, Mio, stop!
Watch out.
And like, she pulls the brakes and is like, what are you doing, Shin-chan?
Yeah. Oh
and
my gosh! And the brakes work this time.
And like,
dude.
Oh yeah, you're right.
What am I doing?
Okay. And so he goes on with his day. His parents are alive because he's like, hey, I'm coming back home. And his parents are like, oh, we went on a work travel in Osaka inside. But we'll be back sometimes. They go back to Alan's place.
Yep.
They meet Ushio. Ushio is
she's still
helping with the stuff for the for the festival. And he's still just like, I can't like still quite put my finger in it, but something's different.
That's right. He's like, I'm like really happy that everyone's okay, but like, why?
Yeah.
Why am I thinking this?
He's like, oh, you're alive.
Like an impression.
He's like, you're alive. Of course you're alive.
Of course. Yeah, it's really, really interesting. And everything is like totally normal, in a sense. And he also sees Hizuru in the diner. He meets up with her, and he also sees Ryonosuke come in. And this was such a nice part where he has a daughter.
Yeah.
And her name is Heine.
Yeah, he has two daughters.
That's right.
Shiori is one of them.
Yep.
And Heine is his second daughter.
And
he's like,
oh,
that is so cute.
No way.
He's talking with Nagumo, and it's like, so you're telling me that like there was a deja vu that it just that's how you know me, for a deja vu for something that happened on this island. Is like, I don't know. It's like, please tell me more about it so I can.
Yeah. And he also is like, it may have been a dream and whatnot, but it's quite interesting. He fangirls over her, and she actually appreciates it, which I thought was really funny. She's always like so stern.
Oh boy.
But
it goes from there. Like, everything's happy. The festival.
They have the festival
is happening. Yep. I really loved how Hisuru was going all crazy. It's like,
oh yes, at the festival. Oh yeah, she's like
Renosuke is like, Nechan, come on. It's like,
oh no.
He's like, oh no. I like that guy. He gave me inspiration. And her story is called Summertime Rendering.
Yeah. Oh, that was such a cool detail. Oh my gosh.
And so
so cool.
So is once again.
Oh yeah, confessing his love to Mio. Yep. And she asks him again, "What do you like about me?" Oh man, it was so great. Like, things are like the same yet just slightly different. But yeah, I'm glad they had the festival. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and at the very end.
Yes.
During the fireworks, or like about to watch the fireworks, Shinbei has some takoyaki, and
he goes up to meet Ushio.
He meets Ushio, and Ushio tells her like, "Oh, just two?" It's like, "Yeah, or like you told me you were going to give me like 100 of them." It's like, when did I say that? Like, you promised me that day. It's like, oh, the day you were going to squeeze yourself in that gap. Yeah, that day.
Yeah. And then they both say it at the same time.
Yeah, and the fireworks just like,
oh, no way.
Like, yes!
Yeah.
Yeah, you both guys remember. It's like, yeah.
It's like, yes! Guts pose.
Yeah.
It's like, it's such a nice scene.
Welcome back, Shinpei. It's like, oh.
Yeah.
And like, you can hear it, but it's like, Tadaima.
Yep. The script.
Like such a great ending.
It was, yeah. Oh, so good. Wow.
So, it was definitely a great ending. Yeah. I'm glad we didn't spoil it as much.
Yeah, there are a lot of things, a lot of parts, a lot of like details from the loops. Definitely worth a watch. It just really gets you going, like. So many crazy moments. Oh,
but yeah, if you didn't get the chance to watch Summertime Rendering, it should be good now. And also, one of the other things of, again, why I didn't finish watching it, it was because like, as soon as I hit episode 14, I was like, I don't think my heart can handle waiting 1 week.
Oh yeah, I see.
It's like
definitely worth a watch now. To go through all of it then.
Yeah, Summertime Rendering, really good, perfect for summer, and
it is.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah,
thanks for watching the 100th episode.
Yeah,
we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Keep watching anime.